Okay, so this is a little PowerPoint to help you with the home learning that you're going to have to do on this one. So we have been exploring the GCSE speaking exam linked with the topic of school. And so just a reminder for you, this is the structure of the speaking exam. A reminder is 25% of your final grade. You'll have one exam around April or May of year 11. And you have basically three parts: the role play, part one, photo card, part two, and general discussion or general conversation, part three. All of these will be on the main topics. Your role play is marked out of 15, your photo card out of 15, and your discussion out of 30. So today we're going to focus on part one of the speaking, which is the role play. So you will be given 12 minutes to prepare both one role play and one photo card. We recommend that you spend 6 minutes on each approximately. So you are allowed to make notes on paper and you're allowed to take this into the exam, but you cannot write on the actual card itself, although we will have a copy of the card for you as well in the exam room. You need to be to the point. You can't say too much on this one. You've got 5 bullet points. You can prepare 4, and you need to say those points as accurate as you can without developing too much. Sometimes you do not even need to make full sentences to get the points that you out of the 15. And I'll get back to that. I'm sorry about the typing errors. I'll correct that on the PowerPoint. So you are marked on communication and grammar. They are the same criteria for both foundation and higher, but I would say that the foundation role plays are slightly easier, although not easy, than the higher ones. So you are marked on communication 2 times 5 things that you've got to say. That's 10 points, and an overall mark on the knowledge and use of language. But again, it's not like the photo card or the general conversation where you have to develop and show what you can do in terms of language. On this one, really think to the point using good, accurate language, but without going over the top and without developing too much. So as you see, same thing. So what you're going to need to do is have a look at the role play on the next slide. You'll have 5 things to prepare to say. You can only prepare 4 because for the exclamation mark, you will need to listen to your teacher. But obviously on this one, we're doing this in writing, and I will give you the question as we are only doing practice. For the question mark, you have to formulate a question based on the prompt. So I want you to have a go at preparing your answers and check your answers against my examples, although obviously it could be many more different examples. These are just a few of mine. So top tips for your role play: keep to 6 minutes prep if you can when practicing. Decode what you are supposed to say using the keywords. Do not forget to listen to the unexpected question. I would say it doesn't really matter if you don't understand what I'm asking you on the role play. You have to stick to the script. However, obviously for the exclamation mark, you will need to listen to what we're saying. And also the questions can be helpful in that they might be able to provide you with some keywords that you might have forgotten. So as I said, you do not always need to make a full sentence. You can ask the teacher to repeat in French. You've got to say répétez s'il vous plaît, and we'll repeat to give you another chance in terms of understanding that exclamation mark. You got to say something even if you're not sure. If you say nothing, it'll be 0. You also need to raise your voice when asking the question. And as I said before, do not develop your answers more than you need to. Think to the point, simple and effective, and stick to the script. So this is an example of a role play where I've helped you a little bit to decode it. This is on the topic of school. And you have 5 occurrences, but one of them, as you can see in this case, number 2, you will not be able to know. So on the first one, it's got votre collège description. That's quite easy to understand, giving one detail about your school in terms of descriptions. Again, it could be anything. It's big, it's modern, it's traditional. Whatever you remember, it doesn't have to be the truth. If you say it's very modern, and Bosworth is not always that modern in some instances, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to check. So you need to say something that responds to the bullet point that is accurate but doesn't necessarily correspond to reality. Then you've got the exclamation mark. So that is when you really need to listen to me or the person doing the exam with you. I'll show you on the next slide what that one was. Matière préférée et une raison. That's easy. Favorite subject and one reason. I would encourage you not to use préféré because you're going to say je préférais instead of je préfère. Je préfère without the e sound is I prefer. Préféré is the adjective. I think it's much better if you just say I really like, I have a passion for, I love, and give the subject you like and a reason. Again, it doesn't have to be the subject that you really prefer. It can be any subject. Remember how to say in French. Then you're being asked to give your opinion on sports. So again, very similar to the previous one. And then that last one is harder. You've got to ask a question about lunchtime. The more logical that came to me was when is lunchtime? I guess you could also have where is lunchtime. That could also be something true. So if you look at this is the teacher's prompts, and you've got the questions I'm going to ask you. So the first one is comment est votre collège? What is your school like? Comment can mean how or what is something like. So in this case, you don't even need to understand what I'm saying. You just answer your first bullet point. The second one is comment allez-vous au collège? You will remember that aller is to go. Comment is to how. Collège is school. How do you go to school? So again, that could be something very simple from what you remember about the means of transport. You don't even have to give a full sentence on this one. Then we've got the one, number 3, about your favorite subject and why. So make sure you give a reason. And then I'm going to ask you a view on sports. So again, that's on your bullet point. And then you have to ask me a question, which I will reply to on the topic of lunchtime. So you've got here my questions in red and your part, a suggested model in terms of what you can say. But you probably need to have a little go at it yourself before you have a look at my answers. And it would be really nice if you could record it and send us share with us the audio file, email it if you can't share it on Show My Homework, because obviously you need to practice your speaking on this. But the speaking starts with writing prep. We can't get out of this. This is how it will be. So I hope you found this useful. Sorry I went really quick. I will add another role play on the topic of school on the PowerPoint, and I will correct the typing errors as well that I noticed at the start when I was starting recording.